Now, a quick history on Reiki, which is a little bit cloudy, but it's generally assumed that Reiki was started by a man named Mikao Usui, who was on a 21-day Buddhist retreat at a Buddhist temple. And it's said that when he was on this retreat, the great Reiki energy descended into his crown chakra, which is his energy center in his head. And it was at this time that he received supposedly the power to heal other people without depleting his own energy. Now, what is Reiki? Reiki comes from the Chinese word qi or the Japanese word ki, and it generally means a universal life force energy, or just a universal life force that everyone and everything possesses. When you're sick or you're feeling bad, then that means your energy is out of balance. See, our energy flows all around us, in us, through us. But when we're sick or stressed or ill or suffering or distressed of any nature, well, then our energy, they say, has been blocked. And the Reiki practitioner, it's up to them to unblock that and make the energy flow again, either by reinstating their energy or channeling energy in them and from around them to bring them back to balance. First of all, the premise is that God is energy. We've already discussed this. God is not energy. It does not emanate from him or proceed from him in any way. He is not the great Reiki source. Our essence, our being is not life force energy. It's body and it's soul. Now, we may have physical and material energies within us, but they are material in nature and they're not spiritual. Generally, Reiki and belief in energy medicine, the whole energy philosophy is seen as a spiritual thing, something that comes from God or the great source, something out there. Catholic Answers, one of the largest and most trustworthy Catholic organizations in the country, says that the Catholic Church teaches infallibly that we are made up of body and soul. And this is infallible. We have to believe it as Christians. They say Christian anthropology holds that a man is a union of body and soul, and that the soul is the essential form of the body, a point infallibly defined by the Council of Vienna. Any energy used as part of the body's operations, such as electricity in our nervous system, is material in nature and not spiritual. The various forms of Hinduism and Buddhism that posit the existence of a life energy, ki or kundalini, interpret the energy as spiritual. And since this is contrary to Christian theology, it is inappropriate for Christians to participate in activities based off this belief. And that's so true. You will not find energy anywhere in the Bible. But if you look in Buddhist writings, in Hindu writings, in Eastern Oriental writings, you will find them everywhere because that's where it comes from, not from Christianity. But there's two problems with Reiki. We believe that Reiki fails the test scientifically. It's not scientifically proven, and it fails the test spiritually. It contradicts our Catholic faith. Let's start with the first one. Many Reiki masters and practitioners, healing touch and such, will say that Reiki is scientifically proven. It has the full backing of science. But this is absolutely not true. It's a farce. It is not scientifically proven in the least. I myself have interviewed Reiki masters, healing touch practitioners and such, and these people, these practitioners, these masters, I asked them a long list of questions, a good number of questions dealing with the Reiki and the nature of Reiki energy and energies and how it affects us and how it's transmitted, etc. And I can tell you that out of all the people I interviewed, nobody gave me the same answer. They all gave me different answers, which leads me to believe that Reiki is the most subjective thing. Hence why there's so many different versions and practices of it. In fact, one of the Reiki masters told me, she's like, Brian, if you ask these questions to 10 different Reiki practitioners, she said, you'll get 10 different answers. And I did, and I know that to be true. Because most people confuse the energy. Some say it's a physical energy, some say it's spiritual, some say it's in us, some say it's out of us, some say it's both, some say it's a combination of everything. Well, what is it? Most people get confused, including most Reiki practitioners and most people who have it done on them, because they don't realize there's two different types of energy. There's what's known as veritable energy and putative energy. Veritable energy is the scientifically proven type of energy which utilizes mechanical vibrations and makes use of specific wavelengths and frequencies to treat patients. Sound and electromagnetic forces, magnetism, visible light, etc. are just a couple examples of this type of energy. Putative energy is the scientifically unfounded or spiritual energy that is purportedly used in Reiki. This spiritual energy used in Reiki and other therapies cannot be measured or detected in any empirical scientific way. I think most Reiki people who say that it's scientifically proven lump Reiki into the field of veritable energy. They take what's not proven and say, oh, look, we have physical energies in us. Therefore, energy science, energy medicine is proven, when it's not remotely. But even if, Reiki is proven someday, even if it's scientifically proven someday, that's not the biggest issue that we have. As Catholics, we are far more concerned with the spiritual problems and concerns that Reiki poses. Number one, many people say that, well, Jesus was a Reiki master, right? Have you heard that? Jesus laid hands on people, we lay hands on people. Jesus touched people, and so we do too. We follow the example of the Bible and Jesus. That's what I've heard from a lot of Christian Reiki practitioners. It's funny how the majority of healings in Reiki are mental or emotional. That's not biblical healing. Well, this person felt calmer when they walked in. Well, this person had a disease, but at least they left more, less stressed than when they first came in. Oh, this person had an illness or a sickness, but, we couldn't heal it, but, they felt better mentally about it. And this is the sort of thing that I hear quite often. That's not real biblical healing. Father Fernando Suarez, who can heal people and has a gift from God, he goes all around the country and all around the world and touches people only for 2 to 3 seconds at a time. And he's healed people from blindness and sickness and deafness and people who are paralyzed and people, he's made their bones grow out. He's raised a woman from the dead. He's done a lot of mighty deeds, and he's very well known for his miraculous miracles. And of course, he knows, and we know, that it's not from him, but it's by the power of Jesus Christ and by the power of the Holy Spirit that God heals them, and he's, the one who prays for them. The Bible could not be more clear that Jesus' healings and miracles were by the power of God. No other reason mentioned. Jesus, yes, did touch people and they were healed. Instantly, completely, and they didn't regress at all. There's no mention of Jesus standing over anyone for 45 to 90 minutes, channeling some unseen energy. The apostles also had the power to work miracles, and all throughout the Bible, you see that. You see Jesus healing people, you see the apostles healing people. And look at any passage, any miracle, quote, scriptural passage that you want, and you will not find Reiki in any of them. You will not find the mention of energy in any of them. You will not find the mention of energy centers or chakras. You will not find the mention of anything Reiki-ish whatsoever because it's not there. Those are Buddhist and Hindu concepts and not Christian ones. And that's important to understand. We need to consider these things. Where in the Bible does it teach, or does it say, or does it even mention energy? Energy life force, or an energy aura, or energy medicine whatsoever. Where in the Bible does it say, or even hint at, that healing comes through channeling an unseen energy? Where does it say in the Bible that Jesus' apostles, or Jesus himself, stood over people and channeled energy? Now, they may have touched somebody or laid their hands on somebody. In many cases, Jesus just said a word and people were healed, or said a word and they were raised from the dead. But where does Scripture say that Jesus stood over people for 45 to 90 minutes, channeling this energy and letting the energy, quote, direct itself? Where does the Bible mention attunements? The attunement is the process that a Reiki person needs to go through to become a master. If they have not received an attunement, if they have not gone to school for Reiki and then received an attunement, they can't become a real Reiki master. So where does the Bible talk about attunements? Where does it talk about attunements being necessary to heal? Where does the Bible talk about going to school to receive the gift of Reiki, to receive the gift of energy, or paying money to learn how to do it? This is absolutely opposite of what the Bible teaches. Where does the Bible talk about that the power has to be passed on from master to student after completing Reiki school? Where does the Bible or any Christian teaching in 2,000 years talk about using Reiki symbols to heal people, such as the power symbol or the distance symbol or anything else like that? Where does the Bible talk about using spirit guides? Many people say, oh, we don't use spirit guides. And you may not use spirit guides, but many people do. Where does the Bible mention any of this stuff except for the condemnation of them? So it's clear that Jesus did perform miracles and his apostles did the same thing. But the way that they healed and the way that Reiki practitioners healed, there are two whole worlds apart. I don't have a lot of time just because of the nature of this talk tonight. We only have a limited amount of time. But I would like, if I did have the time, to talk more about attunements and to talk more about the occult added New Age aspects of Reiki. Because during attunements and during a lot of Reiki practices, you hear talk of God consciousness or spirit guides or beings on the other side who talk to you, who give you advice and who help direct the energy, who talk about psychic experiences or past life regression or any of these other New Age occult aspects. Again, some people don't use this in their Reiki, but many do, and that's problematic. So while we don't have time to talk about these things tonight, you should know that in hospitals, in clinics, in centers, in practices, many people have had Reiki done on them with and without their permission. This is important because I know people, including a deacon who just told me this recently, that they had Reiki done on them. After they went in for surgery or they went to the hospital for this or that, someone came out to give them a complimentary, quote unquote, Reiki, alternative therapy. Sometimes they asked, and I know many people who say that sometimes they didn't, and they just come up and start doing this on them. And when they ask, what are they doing? They're saying, oh, we're giving you a complimentary Reiki therapy, without even telling them. And they also tell me that they have different Reiki practitioners doing it every day. And most of these people didn't know Reiki was wrong, which is why they allowed it. Now they will never allow it again after finding this out. But they said that they had different Reiki practitioners every day. Now that's a problem because maybe one day you have a Christian practitioner, which is bad enough, but imagine having a New Age one or one who's into calling on spirit guides on the other side and that sort of thing. Well, then that propounds the problem and makes it even worse. And people like Father Gabriel Amorth and other exorcists say that it's possible to open yourself up to evil influences. And that's a huge reason why there's litanies of people who have needed demonic deliverances from Reiki. Even many ex-practitioners have needed deliverances from Reiki because they were so into it that they needed these evil spirits to come out of them when they left it. And if you want to hear a good story of someone who is very much into the occult and very much into New Age and Reiki and all that sort of thing, I would recommend the book Ransomed from Darkness by Moriah Noonan. She's very good and she has a very interesting story. But I would like to finish up this section by quoting the bishops of the Catholic Church, because people were asking them, hey, what do we believe about Reiki? What are we supposed to believe? It's, we hear this and that. What does the Catholic Church say? So the bishops came together and prepared a document calling it Guidelines for Evaluating Reiki as an Alternative Therapy. They say, quote, Reiki finds no support in the findings of natural science or in the Christian belief. For a Catholic to believe in Reiki therapy, it presents insurmountable problems. Without justification from science or faith, a Catholic who puts his or her trust in Reiki would be operating in the realm of superstition, the no man's land that is neither faith nor science. Therefore, they say, it is inappropriate for Catholic institutions such as Catholic healthcare facilities and retreat centers or persons representing the Church, such as